Good morning, Phoenix Union. Welcome to another advisory session. Today, November 16, we're going to be talking about in-state institutions. Take it away, Miss Terry.
All right. So you've got about 4.5 weeks left. So we want you to finish strong. Next screen. And we're going to just review a little bit. Today, we're going to be talking about some reminders about your FSA ID, FAFSA, and then start previewing some winter break FAFSA events at College Depot. And then we're going to spend the bulk of our time today talking about NAU. We had been planning to talk about ASU today, but ASU is not quite ready to announce one big deadline that all of us are going to care about. So I'm going to put that 1 week later, or 2 weeks later. And then just a reminder, no post-secondary advisory presentations during Thanksgiving week. And then the following week will be our last fall semester presentations. And we'll cover on the 28th a lot of information about the Common App, trying to get you ready for regular decision deadlines. And then our last session on November 30th, we're going to talk about next steps for ASU and preview 2 big scholarships that they have. Next screen. So University of Arizona, their Honors College, has a couple virtual workshops coming up. One is going to be next Monday on November 20th, and then Thursday, December 7th. You can see the dates, but we really recommend, especially as you're thinking about doing their virtual application, I think their deadline for it is February 1st, but if you have any time over break, it would be a really nice time over Thanksgiving, if you have some extra dates, to just go onto campuses and visit, whether it's the UofA down in Tucson or going up to Flagstaff to check out NAU. Next screen. There's also another program we want to make sure that is in your mind, because I know many of you are thinking ahead all the way past your undergraduate degree to medical school. So if you're interested in either a career in medicine or medical science, the UofA has something called the Accelerated Pathway to Medical Education. It's a combination undergraduate, graduate program. It takes you 7 years, but by the time you have finished, you're going to have a medical degree at the end of it. So if you want to be a doctor, or if you want to go into medical research with your with your doctorate, it's a 7-year program. You don't have to wait until your 4 years are over to apply to med school. You would be applying right now. You have to have a minimum 3.7 unweighted GPA. No test scores are required. That also includes no MCAT. That's a big one. That's a medical school entrance test. But if you apply to this, you don't have to apply using test scores. And then they'll narrow down their list of applicants after doing Zoom interviews in March. So you would find out at that point if you get in. Next screen. If you want to know more about it, they've got on Wednesday, December 13th, and in January, they have online webinars, virtual information sessions. All you have to do is really pull up University of Arizona College of Medicine Accelerated APME virtual information sessions. And I think they're probably trying to put the link in the Q&A right now. Next screen. If you're looking for college funding sources and you have a major that is in the STEM field, there's a December 1st deadline on something called the SMART, in other words, Science, Math, and Research for Transformation Scholarship. there are two ways to apply if you are an incoming freshman. If you don't have any college credits yet, in other words, if you haven't taken dual enrollment, ACE, Hoop of Learning, then you would be applying for the Ronald Dellums Memorial Smart Scholarship. You would just click right there. They're putting the link in right now. If you have already gotten some college credits, you would click further down where it in purple where it says apply now. But basically, if you're an undergraduate, if you're trying to work on your master's, or you want to go through your doctorate, if you're pursuing a degree in a STEM field, and I'll show you that list of categories on the next screen, this would be a fantastic opportunity for you. One of the things that you get from this is full tuition paid for. So it's a full tuition scholarship plus, listen to this, $30,000 a year. It's a stipend that you get starting your freshman year. So that will include any internship you do. That would include your books, your fees, your room and board. So everything paid for. It's a December 1st deadline. You need a minimum of 2 to 5 letters of rec. So make sure you've asked now. And when you're working on the application, you don't have to wait until your recommendations are turned in. You can submit just based on your application. Next screen. Here are the eligible SMART majors. So here's an example. Let's say that you're interested in going to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Prescott. That's one of the top 2. Actually, it's 1 and 2 colleges in the country for aeronautical and astronautical engineering. But their merit scholarships don't cover even full tuition. So if you wanted to major in something like aeronautical or astronautical engineering, you could use your SMART scholarship to pay for the rest of it, and everything would be completely paid for. So you can choose any school in the country. They are looking for students, especially who are headed to HBCU schools and Hispanic serving institutions. All of our in-state universities are Hispanic serving institutions. So you got a long ways to go there. All right, next screen. Just a reminder too, if you haven't yet created your FSA ID, please do it before December. We got news yesterday. So the federal government finally responded, probably to all the pressure from counselors and people who are working in financial aid. And they have sent out kind of a commitment that the FAFSA will roll out by December 31st. People were starting to get a little bit, questionable about whether or not that would really happen. We don't know when it will happen. It might happen kind of a soft opening right around the week before Christmas. But what you'll find is that College Depot will have some winter sessions opening in January. And who knows, maybe even possibly in December, depending on when it opens. So we want you to be, checking the College Depot website. And then the week after next, so next week is Thanksgiving, the week after during senior advisories, by then we should know what the actual rollout date for the FAFSA is. But please get your FSA ID. It's really easy to do. There's about 7 steps to do it. And then definitely make sure that you've taken a picture or written down your FSA ID username and password. Next screen. Some basics on the FAFSA. You have to have a social security number, and your name must match what name you have exactly on your social security card. If your parents are undocumented, you can still complete your FAFSA and then just indicate that they don't have social security numbers, and they'll be able to enter their ITIN number if they have them. You must be either a citizen or an eligible non-citizen, like a refugee, a green card holder, permanent resident. You have to invite at least one parent to complete your FAFSA if a 2022 joint tax return was filed. Okay. Two parents must be invited if each parent filed a separate tax return, or if your natural or adoptive parents are unmarried but living together. So one parent should also obtain the FSA ID to electronically sign that FAFSA. It's possible that both parents will need to create an FSA ID. And then the FSA ID should be created prior to starting the FAFSA because there's a little bit of a delay on it. So if you wait until you go to maybe College Depot over break, there's going to be a delay on processing your FAFSA. So get your FSA ID done early. All right, next screen. So we're going to talk about next steps to enrollment at NAU, but I want you to generalize some of this information, which is the same for both the University of Arizona, which we talked about last week, and ASU, which we'll talk about 2 weeks from now. So the process is really this. Between now and spring, at some point, if NAU is your school that you decide to attend, you're going to accept what your financial aid offer is, and you're going to pay that enrollment fee. Notice I said accept the financial aid offer. You don't yet have that. Maybe all you have that you know of is a merit scholarship. We're not talking about that. We're talking about when you finish your FAFSA, that FAFSA is going to have all the schools that you are applying to. You'll have put all of their names on it. When you do that and you hit submit on your FAFSA, it electronically sends it out to all of those schools. Each school then takes your information and they are going to send you electronically a student aid award letter. You might have grants, you might have work study, you might have loans on there, but all of that will be on there. Plus, they'll have down what your scholarship is. So if you have a merit scholarship, they'll have that on there too. It will tell you the cost of attendance. So you'll, instead of just looking at a sticker price, you'll be able to really drill all the way down and see what your net price is. If that is where you want to go and it is financially feasible for you to do that, then and only then are you going to accept the offer and pay the enrollment fee. Nobody should be paying an enrollment fee in fall. It's too early and you haven't yet seen your financial aid award letter. We want you to wait to enroll until you can see that and compare it to your other schools. So make sure you've applied for financial aid. Once you've done the enrollment fee, there is a fee for enrollment. If you are on financial aid, NAU, ASU, and UofA will all let you roll next year's financial aid in to pay your enrollment fee now, as long as they know you will be getting some financial aid. You'll have to apply for housing if you are planning on living up in Flagstaff. You'll have to submit your very final transcript, which doesn't happen until you've graduated. You'll have to send test scores to the school if you want. That's optional, but it's optional because some students say, you know what, my scores were low, it's not going to help me. I'm not going to bother sending them. If you do send them, they can help you for course placement. So for some of you, even if your composite score isn't that high, some of your individual test scores can be helpful. You'd verify your citizenship. You'd provide immunization records. Our school can help you. Our schools can help you with that. And you have to upload a Jack's card photo. That's your ID photo for your new school. Next screen. So the first thing you want to be doing is checking your LUI account. You're going to use the username that was sent to you after you applied. You have to set up your password, and you're going to use this every time you're logging in for either LUI or your NAU email. Next screen. So again, if you're going to accept your offer, we recommend that you wait until spring. But the enrollment fee, just so you know, and this is pretty typical, every school has an enrollment fee, and it varies from $150 to over $500. NAU's is $325. Generally, you are only ever going to pay one enrollment fee. So just because schools accept you, you don't put down an enrollment fee. You wait until you see financial aid offers from all of your schools and then make your decision afterwards. If you have questions, reach out to your admissions representative. Allow 24 to 48 hours for processing once you've paid that enrollment fee. And just know, no matter what school we're talking about, no matter which schools in the country you've been offered admissions to, as long as it isn't early decision, then you have all the way until May 1st, 2024 to accept your offer. Next screen. So the FAFSA is going to open in December. We think it's going to be mid-December or later. The priority date to have your FAFSA done by is April 1st. That seems kind of a long way off. We'd really rather that you did it in December, because you have to look at financial aid as though it's the world's longest line. It's virtual, but it's still a line. And there's more money to give out at the beginning. Our PXU schools are really good at applying early. Bio, Wilson, I know GTA at Maryville, kids who are at Arch, all of them are really dedicated toward doing their FAFSA and doing it early. If you are planning on applying for the academic year 24-25, you're using the tax year information from 2022. You have to apply every single year that you're in school, and it's going to ask you on the FAFSA for a school code. In other words, for a school code from every school that you're applying to. NAU's is down there. The school codes aren't hard to find, but if you want to take a picture of the screen or look back and refer to it, the school code is there. Next screen. Once you've enrolled, there's something called priority enrollment. That's when you create an academic profile, and then you're assigned an academic advisor that is from your major, from your school or college. You can upload transcripts for dual enrollment, AP and IB credits that might help you move forward and take more advanced classes right from the get-go. And then you can make your request to your advisor. This doesn't open until February. So when I'm talking about enrollment and talking about spring, usually you're not going to see your student aid award from a school until probably February at earliest, especially because of the very late rollout of the FAFSA. Next screen. Let's talk about living on campus. For NAU, it's not required, but about 90% of freshmen live on campus. Next screen. NAU is in the top 1% of the country in terms of housing availability for freshmen. Campus living is an excellent experience at NAU. It's fun to be a part of the campus life. You'd really feel connected with the school. It's great to do because all of your supports are there. Your academic advisor is there. There's activities that are happening. Your study groups are on campus. There's a lot of activities that are connected really close to where you live, which kind of enhances your experience. And normally what happens is, this is the point where we tell you research year after year shows that students who live on campus have higher GPAs. So what's not to like about that? Next screen. There's some benefits to it. For one, at NAU, there's a 94% satisfaction rate with overall experience living on campus. Research reflects students who live on campus transition more easily, are more involved, are retained at higher rates, and they graduate faster. You get connected and you make friends a little bit more easily because you're accessible to one another, in the afternoons and evenings. And then classes are really close. In fact, not just classes, but what you might find is that there's live-in staff that will help you. You'll have resident assistants who are right there on your floor to help you make that transition and just figure out where to go on campus. Next screen. In addition to that, there's a variety of housing options and rent rates for each year of college. The one really nice thing about NAU is if you're living in the dorms, you don't have to take out, separate utilities in your name. It's all inclusive. So when you pay that fee for your rent, it includes all of your utility, like electricity, like water. You have in-hall amenities like high-speed internet, front desk support, 24-hour study spaces, computer labs, kitchens, and my gosh, the laundry is free at NAU. Safety and security, you're going to use your JAX card, that ID card that we'll talk about a little bit later, to get into the dorms after a certain point. So you can walk into the lobby where there's a front desk, but beyond that, to get any further, you have to swipe. And there's also leadership and employment opportunities that happen for kids in connection with the dorms. Next screen. There's both traditional and suite style communities. NAU, like I said, has a ton of different living situations, for freshmen. So you'd be able to live with other freshmen. Next screen. And in terms of what the rooms look like, they're fairly spacious. There's going to be desks, there's going to be beds and refrigerators that are already included. But in most of the dorm areas, there's also going to be a bathroom. You might share it with one person or two other people, but what you'll find is that you don't have to go down the hall to a shared bathroom with everybody on your side of the floor. Next screen. So as you're looking at these pictures, kind of get a sense of, you're going to be deciding on roommates. It can be somebody you know or somebody completely new. You fill out a bio and you do a survey ahead of time to help match you. That way, if you're an early bird and you like to go to bed early, but also wake up early, or if you're somebody who's more quiet at night and you need that quiet in order to study, you're matched with somebody who has the same type of preferences. The beds also can be elevated, so you can put your desk, which is included there, you can put your desk under your bed if you want, or like they have it arranged here. Next screen. To figure out, once you've put down a housing deposit, you would be doing that through the housing portal. So you'll log right in there. You'll apply for housing. You can manage your application. You can select the date when you move in. You can complete your roommate agreement, request a room transfer if it's not working out, or you can just get access to any of the housing information through that portal on Campus Living. Next screen. The roommate search is something that's kind of fun for kids to do. We'll talk more about roommate searches next spring, but just know if you want to know more about roommate searches, it's on the housing portal. And some of you might say, I already know who I'd want to live with if I was at NAU. And can you do that? Yes, you can. Next screen. In terms of the housing portal, you'll be able to select your community, in other words, which building, the floor on it, and which room through the portal. Next screen. In terms of room selection, you can see through the portal the total number of beds in a room, and of those beds, you can even tell which ones are currently available. Let's say you don't have someone that you already know is going to be your roommate. Maybe you're going to meet new people and you're going to select a new roommate that you don't know. You can even look in and see on the portal if any of a particular room or if a particular area is already selected, and you'll also be able to tell the room type on there. Next screen. So final notes on housing. Once you have officially enrolled at your school, we urge you to apply as soon as you can afterwards for housing, because depending on the school, housing fills up. NAU has a lot of really good housing options. UofA has better options the earlier you make the decision to put down your housing deposit. And you can't put down a housing deposit until you've officially enrolled. You do that, you'll get some of that information through the information on LUI. Next screen. So let's talk for a second about dining. They are really conscientious there, and a lot of times people think, oh, it's just a food service. They have 9 chefs on campus. They have a dietitian. So if you have a special diet, you can meet with the dietitian and come up with a plan for you from the very beginning. They also do quarterly food for thought forums where they get input from staff and students that live on campus that have something to say or have requests for the dining experience. Next screen. There are a lot of different options for meal plans. We won't go into these in depth right now, but you can have weekly plans, you can have unlimited plans, you can have blended plans, and you see the number of meals per week that you might purchase, or you can have a particular amount of dining dollars. The difference with dining dollars is if I have a 19 meal plan, then I can go into any of the dining areas and I can use my Jack's card to swipe because you will have selected a plan and you'll have that many meals per week paid for. But if you want to just go and pay for, a cup of coffee or something quick, you might rather use dining dollars because that only pays for what you're eating. If you do a meal plan, it's unlimited eating for that meal. Next screen. So it's all you can eat. But if you stay between meals, say it's a day where you're just studying, maybe it's toward the end of the semester. There are some days where there's no classes, everybody's just studying, getting ready for final exams. If you stay there between meals, that's still just one swipe if you remain in there. And again, dining dollars, you only pay for what you get, and there's no sales tax. Next screen. Another reminder, there are mobile resources. So if campus closes because of weather, like maybe it snows that day, food services stay open. All you have to do is check your dining dollars, and you can get on your phone and order. Next screen. Another thing they have are robots. You can totally avoid the line. It's a free service. It comes to you. You have to use your Jax card information in order to unlock it. It won't open unless it's you. Next screen. When you've graduated, you're going to submit your final high school transcript. It has to have the graduation date on it, but it's going to sit in your taskbar for a while, and it's going to say, that you are required to turn in your final transcript. That's actually your counselor who will do that, and they can't turn it in until you have officially graduated because it'll say it right at the bottom of your transcript. And that's done usually at the end of May or in early June. You also need your test scores if you want to use your test scores to help you with course placement. You have to do your immunization and just verify your residency. Next screen. And then last, you have to upload your photo for your Jax card. That helps you get into buildings, helps you with your meal plans, with using your some of the, like the trolley or the buses around there, legal services, and it admits you into health and recreation areas, gives you admission to athletic events. Next screen. So every school covers next steps in the admissions process. We've covered NAU today. We covered UofA last time. After we return back from Thanksgiving, we'll cover NAU and we'll make some important announcements then. But if you need more support, next screen, just a reminder, reach out to your counselor or College Depot. Thanks for joining today. Have a great rest of your week and have a really wonderful Thanksgiving.